Yeah, the pigeon. The pigeon. There was a girl in my studio that works there. I found a pigeon who had hit the window or the wall, and I told her to keep it, and I took it with me home and I hung it on my wall right over there, and I painted it, and here is the result. It was really fun, but it kept on changing all the time. It was really frustrating because if you paint from a photograph, you have the object is standing still, but this was changing both in shape and the lighting, and but I think it kind of turned out quite well. So I did a video of the whole process, and you can watch it and share it with your friends and the world, and yeah, if you like. Anyway, of course I could always go further and further and further with a painting. It's never really finished, but it's also going to my exhibition now, so on my home island, Karmøy. So I guess I just call it the day. Yeah. Yeah, and you have the video of the whole process behind this ranting. Have a good one. Thank you for watching. So, here I am. Pictures of me, yeah. I went to the gym today, and I was working out a little bit, and a girl that was working there, her name is Pia, very nice girl, came over to me and asked if she could throw a pigeon in the trash, because a pigeon had actually hit one of the windows. And I said, no, don't throw it away. I can bring it home and paint it. So that is actually what I'm going to do. It's now like 5 in the morning, Saturday, 5 in the morning to Sunday, the 10th of May. And I've actually been working on this all night. I didn't go out today for some reason. I just wanted to stay home and paint. It's not often I do that, but it's starting to get quite nice. But the point is, I'm going to paint now, a couple of hours anyway. Just going to work for a couple of hours. I'm training Taekwondo tomorrow, and if I'm tired, my trainer is really kicking my ass. He's an Iranian. I've been training from he was like 8 years old or something like that. Anyway, here's a pigeon. So I think it's probably gone into rigor mortis by now. I see the head isn't so. Anyway, I love painting these still lifes, and this bird is going to be really nice to work with. As you can see, I use a bright light that I get some shadows and get some shape to work with. It's easier that way because you can actually see the sculptural dimension of it easier. And I'm gonna paint it on this canvas. Not too big, but so I can get it in almost natural size. So what I'm gonna do is just make a short video in stages and just talk and show how I build it. So yeah, I guess that is it for now. Okay. Yeah. See ya. So here we go. Okay. Now, yeah, the lights. It's not much contrast to work with, but I'm going to do my best. As I've shown before, when I start on a painting, I always start with light to dark, from dark to light. Right here is as easier than done actually, but so anyway, what you want to do when you start is to get all of it in there. You know, you have to count 1, 2, say 1, 2, 3. You have the this one there, and I feel the tail. Too big, too big, too big, too big. I want to have it in here, I guess. Yeah. Place it like this, because I want all of the wing and foot, wing, here. You just have to kind of place it as good as you can. Well, maybe it has to be a little bit more. It's really hard talking and concentrating about drawing this at the same time. But anyway, what I do is just, I kind of just mold it into existence. I don't start with a sketch, with a charcoal sketch or anything. I just try to get the first points, first placement of it right, and take it from there. Usually I do mistakes and I have to correct it, and that gives it a little bit more Wellington boot, as they call it, a little more the more you paint over it, the more texture you get into it, the more sculpture like it becomes, the more shape you get. So there's a lot of people who are, I've seen, who is using projectors and stuff like that, and if you get it right, totally right, you don't have to overpaint and overpaint and overpaint. So they actually lose a lot of the subject matter that comes into a painting when you are painting over and over and over again. Every time you touch it, you put something of yourself into the painting. Even if it's they say, oh, it's figurative, what's the point, blah blah blah. The point is, well, what's the point? The point is the challenge. It's always a challenge. I'm not going to play any music now or anything. It's not going to be a 10-hour video. It's just going to be a little instruction video. If you see my palette, it goes from the primary colors. I have all the primary blue and cobalt blue and French ultramarine and Prussian blue, I have black, and I have raw umber, burnt umber, and Van Dyke, and raw sienna, usually burnt sienna, raw sienna, alzarin, and I guess that is cadmium red and vermilion red. I think Scarlet Lake was it or something, and some of the yellow, and I have some broken colors too. But it's basically impressionist, more impressionist palette. One has to paint as nature does. That's my kind of my motto. You can't create a rainbow if you don't use colors, and that's the whole point. So it's a little bit white for me. The still life is very, if you see, it's very, there's not much contrast, so it's a little bit harder to do it than usually is, but it's going to be even more interesting. The nuances are weaker, and the contrasts are weaker. People ask me if I can teach them how to paint and stuff, and then I say, well, if you paint some still lifes or something like that, then you can show me something you've done, I can give you some advice. But then they say, oh, I don't want to paint still lifes because that is so boring. And then I say, what about self-portrait? Oh, that's boring too. So I just ask, how the hell do you want to learn how to paint if you don't want to learn how to paint? The point is that people usually want to be artists. They want to be artists before they have a skill. But I also want to learn how to paint because, you know, being a painter is kind of popular. Gives some kind of identity or something like that. Something to show the girls, maybe. I don't know. I've never been thinking like that myself. I paint because I love it, so that's why I paint, because I love painting. And today I didn't go out. It's Saturday night. I didn't go out. I stayed home to work, and it was actually one of the best Saturdays I had in a long time. So maybe I should do that more. I also have an exhibition coming up soon, so I just have to get finish some works for that. If you see now, I just start to mold it. Doesn't look like anything now. I'm just trying to keep it open. So when I do mistakes, it's easy for me to... You can say I'm actually drawing with my pencil in a way. So I do draw, but I do it with my pencil. Almost said penis, but I wouldn't be right with it. So, wing, foot. So comes the shadow down there. Now I can see this kind of the fur here is kind of has this kind of reddish, bluish color to it. And if I look at the background, that is kind of the shadows are in the blue tones, and where the light hits, it is orange. You have to think of everything you look at. You have to think the color circle. You have to learn to look at nature, not in nuances and light and dark, but in colors. If you actually start noticing that even when you look at a cloud, the cloud is never white. It is orange, it's yellow, it's red, it's bluish. The shadows are kind of a mixture between the bluish and the orange. You just have to see how nature works, and there are actually no black in nature. So, and black is a color that easily kills a painting if you don't know how to use it. So be careful with the black, because it's a killer, a color. It kills the colors very often. Okay. Shadow down here on the wing. The light is coming from the side, and there's a shadow in here. And we have the dark wing. It's in here. Here. It is not easy to talk and paint at the same time, because my brain is jumping back and forth between the different parts of the brain that is doing the work. And when you do painting, it's not really a conscious process, it's subconscious. And when I'm talking, I'm conscious, so there's a collision between a conscious mind and the intuition. So yeah. Okay, I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna concentrate a little bit and come back to you. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of getting somewhere, aren't I? Anyway. It's too early in the morning. See here now, there's just put on colors, molding it, the shadows, working in directions, deciding. See, and you see the feet of this dinosaur comes, no, not that, well, it's like here, I guess, somewhere there, then one in the middle, like this, yeah, something like that. Anyway, the fun thing is that there's a shadow falling from here and here. So getting this shadow, the claws, hits it. It's quite nice when stuff like that happens. Then I have to just keep on working with it. Just place it there for now, and then I just go back and mold it more, because I'm not even interested in a perfect sketch. I used to do kind of more perfect sketches, but then it's kind of better to keep it open for a while and just keep on molding it. You can really starting to feel tired. And maybe I will stop painting on it soon. It's not going anywhere. It's dead as a doornail, so it's just gonna hang around until tomorrow. I have no idea how much time I have until it starts to smell. But I can always put it into my fridge. The point is to paint that bird, not any bird. It's like when you're painting fruit, it's very easy to cheat because fruit basically just, we have a image of fruit up in our head, and as long as you can get an apple to look like an apple, you will accept it. It starts to look like a bird. So the point is to get it to become exactly the apple, the onion, the person that is in front of you. And that is when it becomes hard to paint. Keep your feet firmly nailed to the ground. Look at paintings of the old masters and do your best. Everything, you won't be able to create anything new anyway. In art everything is done. And even in conceptual art everything is done before. So, but every person has their own process, and every new book, every new painting, every new thought, a personal thinking, it's a contribution to humanity. Even the stupid thoughts, even the bad paintings. Nobody was born a good painter. You have to practice, practice and practice and practice. It's a skill like all other. It's like that Norwegian chess player. Oh, I can't remember his name right now. The one who won World Championship. I mean, if you sit in front of a chessboard from you are basically a toddler and you play chess all the time, every day, no wonder you become a good player. So it's not that he had a talent for chess, he just did a job. And if he stopped Carlsen, his name is Carlsen something, Carlsen, yeah, whatever. And if you stop playing chess, there would be a huge drop-off in skill. But then if you start up again, his brain would already be quite wired for it, and he will be able to pick it up. So I guess that it will become harder and harder as you age, because the brain isn't working as fast as it used to. Even I can feel that. Now I'm 47, I can start to feel that painting is not harder. I'm a better painter, but it takes more effort in a way. And I have to live more and more healthy to be able to do it. I need to stay away from alcohol, I need to eat right, I need to get my sleep, I need to... all the things that I've never been good at. If it was up to me, I would never sleep. I wouldn't, because it's a waste of time. Then we have all the temptations, going out, girls, TV series, movies, being social instead of doing the work, the job. And then again, the only thing that really makes me happy in the long run is this. It makes me happy the days after I've done it, because it's like my brain has gotten it into some kind of a more stable mode, and it works like a healthy antidepressant. And it's a very good thing. Well, it looks like a bird. It's not there yet, but see how easy it is to get something to look like a bird? It's just paint. It's just some paint on a canvas. It doesn't even have any shape yet or any substance. Just suddenly, boom, it looks like a bird. A bird. I use many flat brushes, Da Vinci. It's quite cheap and quite good, because I kind of grab the paint and I grab the color and I grab it. It's like, and I kind of mix it on the canvas in a way. So in every stroke there is a lot of colors in not mixed together, but in a way kind of placed on the canvas, like almost impressionists. The ones who used the points did that. They put the colors beside each other, and when you stepped away from it, you kind of just it focused into a motif. It's kind of the same thing here too. I mix the colors, but I also mix them on the canvas. I'm working over and over, putting the colors in, creating textures. People ask me if I can explain a little bit, so that's what I'm trying to do now. It is nice to see that people are interested, and I think it is a good thing if somebody can get something out of this. So when I die, I actually gave something to humanity. Just a little thing, a little small. So is art important? Good question. Aesthetics are important. If you do aesthetic work and you have something you love, it will make you into a better person. Not if you are one of these solipsistic asshole artists that are just doing it because they think they are almost gods. But if you're an honest person and you are critical to your own both thinking and your own work, it will make you into a more thoughtful person. And while painting, you get a lot of time to think, so that's a good thing too. You can actually stand around thinking, solving your own problems, and of course other problems. I wish I had some questions or something that I could answer directly to people, because I kind of need a trigger when I write something or in discussion. I can just it kind of triggers my thinking processes. You see, this is all the way up here. The things you see when you kind of comes out like this. It's really hard to see that motion, and the wing seems much bigger than it actually is, and it kind of tricks my brain into believing that it's bigger. And our brains aren't perfectly evolved, not in long shots, so we are easily fooled. See what I'm doing? Just using the colors I already I put into it. Now to see the difference between the wing here and the head. Maybe like that. Kind of comes out, so I've seen some people specialize in sketching, and it looks nice when you just go over it once, if you make a really nice, what I call impressionist sketch. But it doesn't have any substance, and you have to do a lot of overpainting to give it some real subjective matter. That's my opinion anyway. I'm not saying that you have to brush everything out, because that becomes quite boring. Is that right? Is that right? I don't know. I don't even know if the composition here is good. I'm not sure. But we'll find it out sooner or later. Oh my God. I'm tired. Anyway, get the point. It's not going to become a very long video, so I should stop now and just keep on painting. And yeah, it's an annoying fact that this bird keeps on changing all the time, because it's actually changing because of its gravity, or maybe the things that is happening in his body since it's dead. I guess I just have to find or decide how it's going to be, and then just go with it. Okay. It's hard to see the perspective. It's actually harder than I thought. I've been working some hours now, and it really wasn't as easy as I thought. There's a lot of things happening in a bird. But anyway, it's just a sketch, so just have to keep on working. Because maybe having a sketch, something to look at could be a good thing. Because then the shapes will be kind of more fixed. Problem with me is that I keep on changing the painting while the bird is changing. So I remember one time when I was like in my 20s, I was going to paint one of my first landscapes, and it was a nice sunny day but cloudy, and I couldn't decide which clouds I was going to focus on. In the end, it was just filled up with strange clouds all over the sky because I couldn't decide. Didn't know where to stop. So I guess that's what's happening now when this bird is changing. I'm changing it, and then the bird is changing again. I'm changing it, so on. Anyway, just have to decide. So, I guess. Just have to put it in the shadows and this. Actually, the nail is higher up, but I'm just gonna put it down here. Cheat a little bit. So. Okay. See, there isn't much battery left, so I just have to stop it now. Yeah. As you now see, I have managed to cover the whole canvas And the bird keeps on changing. It's quite annoying. Somewhere. But it's kind of 5:30 in the morning, and I think I want to let it dry. Put this bird into the fridge so it doesn't start to smell. And yeah. Details are kind of a different process. It's time consuming, and it's going back and forth again and again, finding the right colors, painting in the right directions, getting a sense of fur in this, trying to understand what kind of texture you have to use, what kind of directions, and just keep on going till sooner or later emerges. Out of all the... Every time you touch the canvas, you'll kind of find something subjective behind. Painting figurative is kind of taking reality and copying it through your brain. And becoming good at this, you have to practice. I wish I had some questions from people. What? I mean, I guess you can ask me questions of the. Well, wasn't any more space on the cardigan. What I was saying, you can ask questions in my YouTube channel, but it's even easier if you go into my group on Facebook and add yourself in that group, so we can communicate more directly. See, I'm kind of... I usually only use these brushes. I used to use more knives when I was painting, but I feel like unless there is a special kind of texture that needs a kind of a knife like this, I kind of scratch it and like this, but you can actually go in and you can maybe make some lines and stuff like that, but usually I just basically only use these flat brushes and just put them layer upon layer upon layer. I hate when my motifs are changing. It really confuses me. I'm easily distracted, as they say. When I actually am. Is that right? I don't know. Anyway. Yeah. What I really like is when I can do the thick layers like around these feathers and just put in a lot of color, and I just kind of build it like it is clay, or so just drag it out with a 3D. It's the same process as all the old masters did it the same way. You can go into it, and that is why you have to, when you stand before a painting, just forget about a motif. It's not the motif that is most interesting for a painter. It is always a texture, and that's where the artist lies too. You can see how the artist have been thinking, how good he was to actually understand the paint itself, and that's why Rembrandt is probably the greatest painter that's ever lived. I also think that Jan Vermeer and some other... something's happening. Vermeer also, but Rembrandt is really my favorite painter, with Vermeer on a second place. But the best artist ever lived, I think, is Leonardo da Vinci, also because he was a scientist and he could actually do that. But as a painter, Rembrandt is better, and that probably has something to do with the time they lived in, the accumulation of knowledge, and maybe also the paint they used, and the brushes and the canvases. I mean, Leonardo da Vinci probably used to paint on wood or something like that, and that gives a different surface, a more flat surface to it. Linen canvas is more, it moves, it gives you a little bit more feedback in a way. I don't know how to explain it, just, yeah. You see how I build it? And I see a lot of people, I've probably said this before, but yeah, posting paintings, usually they are not so good, well painted, but they also, their motifs are very emotional, and you always want to be an artist instead of focusing on a paint, and I think that is a mistake. You want to be a poet, write poems. If you want to be a painter, paint. The poetry in a painting is in the paint anyway. A good painting can only become a good painting when it's a well-painted painting. So, an idea can't make a bad painting a good painting. That is why the Scream of Munch is not my favorite at all, by far, by a long shot. It is Sick Pico, or The Sick Girl, and his earliest production, which are my favorites. When he really worked with the canvases, worked with the paint, layer upon layer upon layer, you really see him, how he's been fighting, and that gives them so much, that makes them so poetic. So, paint. Focus on the paint. And of course the colors, but okay. So, I guess I've been ranting enough now. Hope you learned something from it. I really don't like these paintings that are too photogenic, or whatever you call it. You know, there's a lot of figurative artists who are really good, but it's always, there's not so much color in them. They are quite introvert. They are, everything is in there. There's nothing coming out because they haven't worked enough with the paint itself. And I wish they could actually go deeper. Really good artists that I think are stopping a little too early when they are painting. So do not use a projector or anything like that. It kills it. Kills the painting. It's a shadow. It's going to be a shadow. I'm now painting wet in wet, and it's kind of nice to do that because you can just keep on molding everything. Sorry for my quaint English, but it's what it is. Yeah. And talking to my hand isn't easy. I'm actually talking to you. Because people have asked me if I could explain stuff. So that's what I'm trying to do here. But one has to, I can't teach anyone to paint. They have to experience them. They have to do the work themselves. They have to feel it, to maybe we can get some idea how to approach it, but much more to it than that. You have to feel it, you have to be it, you have to love it. You can't do anything if you don't love it, and that's probably the most important thing. If you're painting to get girls, you will never become a good painter. It's not a good enough motivation. Not even money. Money is not a motivation. Money is something that gives you a lot of freedom if you have it. But it won't make you happy. I guess having no money doesn't make you happy either, but I've done a lot of stuff that will never be sold, that cost me a lot of money. I just do it because I want to, because I feel like it. I'm just spelling it anyway. Okay, so I've been molding a little bit so you can see what I did. Actually, I have a I have one round pencil. Just want to put in some fur. No, not fur, for fuck's sake. Feathers. I mean, of course. Maybe I just play a documentary about art. While finishing it. I think I've been ranting enough. Now, yeah, okay, call it tonight. So, the painting has dried, and what I do is that I put on a layer of a thin layer of color. It's like bluish, reddish color, and I do that with a lot of. I mix actually linseed oil, cooked linseed oil, and turpentine. 30% oil and 70% turpentine, and I just do like this to get the texture. Just go over it. So I see the strokes. You see all the brush strokes are kind of popping out. Just going to see how I do it. It doesn't really matter. It just because it's actually wrong. It's going to be reddish. Down there. So this is just to have a fresh start in a way, because you see all the you can see it closer. You can see the texture. It's kind of popping out. Now, usually, most things are actually quite. There's a lot of blue and red, and everything actually, orange. And this is just to shit, too much. Of course you have to know what you're doing, because now I will start to extract the texture and choose where I'm going to have the shadows. So, I should do it. First I will just take away some of it. And then, let me see. Then I take this and start extracting pictures. Now, some of the oil is gonna be on the stay on the canvas. So, if you see, I go all the way in. You can see the textures kind of popping out, and yeah. Okay, here, I guess. No. Okay. Now, what I do is that I go in here and take away. Oh, so I guess you can totally fresh start. I get some furry. Better feeling. You can see the places I painted thicker just popping out and creating a 3D effect, almost like a sculpture. And I do this, but I also keep it doesn't really dry, it just kind of falls into the cracks in the paint. So, it's quite brutal, but if you're going to paint, you have to be a little bit brutal. If you're afraid to kind of ruin the painting, you won't actually be able to become a better painter. You have to be willing to kind of kill it once in a while. I haven't got any brushes. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Now, of course, the pigeon have changed a bit because I have had it in my freezer. So we just have to kind of adjust it a little bit. And that's a strange thing. How did I do that before? When I didn't have freezers, did I paint everything at once, or did I just let it hang there until it? See now, I'm kind of starting to. So now the mix of color kind of blends with the white that I put on it, so it comes out. The texture so it comes out. Come out, and that is how I do it anyway. Just a technique that I picked up myself. I don't know if that is how it was used to be done, but anyway, it's how I do it. So. Problem with taping these things, it's hard to get into that deep flow. So I can't really paint the whole painting talking. That is not possible. So anyway, you see here, between there. When you get into the deep flow, everything becomes timeless, everything becomes beautiful. It's the best state I can have because my mind is always thinking about something. But when I'm painting, I just stop thinking. It's just probably like meditation. And I usually play music. Now you see how I can just build it out of the background. And you have to be a little bit careful because it's very easy to kind of kill it. But then again, you can do this process I did now over many times. Because I don't really use a lot of oil when I'm painting. I'm just kind of grabbing the colors and paint it right on and kind of mix it on the canvas. So that is how I kind of choose to do it. Yeah. Okay. I just have to stick with the shadows that I created the first time. Try to be, because it changes when it defrosts, it starts to change again. So there's no point in changing everything every time because we'll never be able to finish it. So in a way, the background explains the foreground. So you just have to, what one has to do is to go and look at the old masters and don't look at the motive necessarily, look at how it's painted. The only thing that is important for a painter is how it's painted. And ideas are the easy part. That is relative. So see now, I just start to yeah, okay. Get the general idea what I'm doing, and also it's not right. Not really. Not really. There was one girl that said it was rare that artists shared their pencil strokes. I don't get that, because sharing is caring. And it's like in science, scientists are sharing their experiences and their knowledge, so we can evolve it further. So if you can learn something from my videos, it makes me happy. Yeah. Okay. Don't be afraid to put on some extra color, extra texture. Try to understand the different kinds of textures and colors, because you can't actually use the same texture on a wall that you do on a fur, but you have to kind of use the brush, okay, and think, how does feather work, how does it, what is the physical properties of feathers, how does feathers feel, how they feel light, they feel kind of woolly, and then you paint woolly, not willy but woolly. And if you have a hard object, you just give it a hardness. You can be light to light. You can push. There's many options. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okie dokie. So, yeah. You do a mistake and you just correct it with more color. This. It's kind of like drawing. Not really. I haven't been doing any charcoal or pencil in a very long time, and I'm heading for moving to a new studio soon, and I get more space, so I think I'm going to start doing more. I read maybe even some sculpture. Always, I remember the art school, I made a couple of sculptures there, really interesting. I think I'm going to become fairly good at it, because that's what I'm trying to do with a paint. I also would like to do some reliefs. I was at the Frick collection in New York last fall, and I saw a little bird that kind of hung like this, but it was in plaster, and it was fucking beautiful. I don't remember the name of the artist, but it was beautiful, so inspiring. This is silk thread here, and I'm creating a shadow. Like this. It's hard work, but somebody has to do it. See, now I kind of work, I thread this down there, and I just drag it right out of the background. So important to understand stuff like this. I see a lot of people trying to, well, I said this before, they're trying to be artists, and should make a bigger effort being a painter. I really don't care about your fucking ideas. I want to see good painting. Everybody can have an idea. I want to see things I can learn something from. Yeah, that's nice. Go to modern galleries, and what do I see? Just babble. No. I go for the aesthetic. Sometimes a little bit political, but still it's the aesthetic dimension that means most for me. It's a challenge. Anyway, probably get the right idea here. Yeah. Sure. Funny to think about that. Birds used to be dinosaurs. Yeah. Yay! Now some Retouching Varnish to get the colors come out before I'm starting to paint again. It's quite important. So, Retouching Varnish. This. Yeah. Smells good. Should maybe wait a little bit until it's dry. I haven't got the patience. Yeah. Wash the brushes when painting a different painting before this. So I usually always start with the lightest places, because to get into the flow you have to start somewhere, and the rest will only be when you get into the flow. Everything is just automatic. So but it's to get to that point that is important. As you see, just building more shape. Getting it kind of there. This pigeon has really become a little bit smelly now, even if it has been in the freezer. So I guess it's not cold enough. What I cannot do is make smaller and smaller pencil strokes that are crossing over, to give it that furry, woolly feeling or texture. So just keep on walking. So a lot of painters should try to always take it further. Yeah. See now the shape. Some shadows. I'm kind of thinking in a orange blue. Oh, that's the... Ah, fuck. See, that was the wrong color. How does nature do it? That's the important thing. Yeah. So hard to think and not hard to paint and talk at the same time. There's some greenish, bluish, greenish color. That brings out this one. Because this has some reddish in it, and if you put green, you kind of get that complementary, complementär contrast. That was Norwegian, by the way. Yeah. Enough yapping. Now I need to do some real painting because I have to finish this for an exhibition. And I can't stand here and distract myself anymore. Yes. It is actually inspiring to get feedback from people that I find my videos inspiring. But I probably have said that 100 times now. So. Anyway, get the point. When you paint, you have to. It's like a pianist. He can't push the have the same weight on every time he touches the keyboard or whatever it's called. He has to. He has to vary the force he puts into it every time he touches it, to get different sounds. And it's the same thing with painting. You have to kind of learn how to touch. And then you have colors, nuances, like getting it. It's a different color there and there, but you have to get them together without to paint the air in a way. It's like, yeah. Anyway, yeah, blah blah blah. Yeah. What is it now? 7:30 in the morning, and I'm still painting on this fucking bird. It's kind of starting to get on my nerve. Guess be finishing it. Not so. Yeah, blah blah blah. I'm now down to detail. And that's the hard part. It sure is. The closer you get to the finish line, the more subtle it is. And sometimes you overdo it and you kind of lose the contrast. You have to walk back the cat and just to try to find it again. And that's the way you do it. It's like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's a never-ending story. Ends in a grave. It's very important not to kind of get stuck at one single detail, but kind of try to keep yourself open and work all over it. So you don't go blind. Yeah. My videos tend to become several hours long. It's hard to stop. So why do we paint? Yeah, good question. Yeah, that's nice. point.
Here you can see the end result and some of the brushwork and the textures. As you can see, I kept it quite open. I let the brushwork stay. I built texture a little bit more crudely and impressionistic. I think it functioned quite well for this one. I might do it again because I also have a photograph I took of it, and it also still lays in my fridge, and it's 10 years ago now, so yeah. If you like to have me as your mentor, you can go to my Patreon and sign up for one of the tiers, and I will use all my skill to teach you how to paint. If you just want to support me, you can buy me a coffee or maybe throw in a super chat on my streams. Hope to see you there.